Hey, listen up. It's paramount that you mount this mountain amount. For compiling the mile-high smile pilot from this complicated narration creation compilation. That's forming in a formal form of forming, a form of informal formulation for the formation of informing information. Falling down around town from the Himalayan mountains around, flowing as a donation fountain from every nation and still counting. It's a complicated compilation of complaints against the nation, from the space destination wave reverberation creation, a head-melting sensation, messing in a wave progressing, in, all, like shock and awe, in all of the awesome lesson you're guessing, but it's a blessing, addressing brain conjectures, from emerging technology and tractable calamity, anomalies, from the institution, let there be no confusion. There is no substitute for a proper execution, as extinction is not an option. An extinction solution needs adoption, like a contract by conjecture lecture coming to get yours.
Connectionism is a serious business of selectionism. Broader spectrums have a higher probability for more exceptions or less rejections of your proper ability along a chain of entangled interaction of energy flows, ultimately indefinitely from your destination illumination attraction, also as it's possible to influence you through an associated estimation on variation. The last triple does not exist, flowing forever with nothing to resist. I insist you'll make a black hole if particle collisions persist.
Spectrum refraction is a physics type of action, channeled, funneled or deflected. The desired elect function is directly directed at the correct junction affected. At some deterministic point of diffeomorphism covariance, chaotic asymptotic invariance. Smooth manifolds by discrete waves of quantum entanglement and flux in fluctuation. 4D, isometric, electromagnetic, spherical quantum supersymmetry quaternious calculation. Map for time, space.
This means that communication and interaction across the galaxy, from any destination in real time is a reality, because mind-altering alterations can make space destination education situations like simulations. Please pay attention, indications are present of an offending, mini black hole doom ending, because the apocalypse switch has been built, self-destruction has no guilt, a flower about to wilt, self-devoured the fruit of innocence and free, the most conscientious branch of the genetic genesis tree, you each leaf draw water, prevent rotten, or this branch will fall, all flowers forgotten.
The universe runs, like a music at play, in harmonic tunes, harmonics all sway. So swim with the current, destiny of today, your moral compass, will point the righteous way. Elegant string sections, of relevant connection spectrums. Attune your natural selections, for a broader, higher order probability. For more exceptions, and less rejections, of your proper ability. It exists in science to reveal clarity across the galaxy for hilarity and the your mirror travesty impending doom intractable calamity. Manipulation on electron-neuron pathways, when you're at halfways, between the competing boundaries that are expanding are very demanding, so please be understanding, when an invasion is landing lending hands commanding, sparking arcing neuron links, ideas you thinks, complications on complex realizations of what's real, is only imagination of what the reality link.
Greetings with love. It's time to show how universal order fits like a glove. Knowledge and appreciation is a symbolic piece of. Just open your mind and look out above. The Federation of Enlightenment transcends. A greeting with love to all interstellar friends. This feedback debate that now extends. As a report circulation top down, it descends on Earth's power political's epic pinnacle spectacles, to which need amends, as the Earth's future now depends on the added opinions from all those to whom it ends. Please add opinions as it intends, to avoid a judgment that offends, and, so it depends, to either help the human species toward amends, or, deliberate, to not alleviate, as they self-annihilate. Theater means to an end.
Like an avatar, playing a guitar from afar. Our imagination stimulations are mind alternating alterations, which make the space destination education situation. These intense simulations are initiating the common universal sense. So congratulations, as quantum local relativity is about to commence enlightening enigmatic type activity with a grand superunification theory. Hence, from simple universal geometry that only requires one postulate, that is a real unproven stipulate, the axiom scale of infinity, like breaking down the fence. Now know how we relate our connectivity through the asymptotic wave function of reality. So please don't take offense, but basically, reverberation observation of your destination for pragmatic interaction estimation along homomorphic polynomial lines of phase and inverse function at diffeomorphism junctions. Attraction for guesstimation and assumptions. So, by analyzing oscillations of superlinear of digital data to atom minimal, superliminal, faster than light speed rate, from a simultaneous, quadtaneous, hectic, trigonometric, chaotic calculus invasion, then feeling your sensation we can relate. It's the parsimonious, harmonious, drawn flux analog wave ripples that flow along the nexus inwards energy matrix. So now you know that even instantaneous is late, and this cosmological constant show, as quantum entanglement instant interpolations make light speed seem slow, relating directly to particles and their waves, is how the size scale speed rate behaves, and as perturbations along cosmological constants reverberate constantly, phenomenological, supersymmetrical, superluminality of superposition principles interpolate at some deterministic point to create a covariance of wave ripple duality in cosmology, delivering epistemology chronology type of apology as psychosomatic neuroimmunology from lyrical medicinal technology.
Maybe you're already aware that somewhere, something right now is observing your resonation footprint with fascination. This is how, in real time, your realization that nothing is private now, even this oscillation privatization, universe baptization show, as this way always they were, even intergalactic interactions occur, over long distances if you know the flow. The local harmonic superconductor, repercussions of wave musical ripple percussions, is used for harmonious manipulation discussions, based on future prediction perception probability estimation, an enlightenment debate, entitlement to stipulate, proceed to the agreed, taking the lead, the eventual resonance to reverberate or manipulate, referred as free, referee gravity direction inclination, institution fed, whole heart and soul. Cosmology United Team Good versus Evil, Dark versus Light, and the negative and positive polarization of what is right. As all flags waved, are raised as red, and may lead you to an ashtray bed, failed frivolous, unchivalrous whole meteorological metropolis, a galaxy-sized extreme obscene chaos-hungry machine, a self-preservation and expansion to the extreme, this creator of all those selfish genes, a mastermind of globule and cluster grind, behind the obscene scenes, cause nightmare dreams, this is expanding in streams.
As it is, and always was, the assumptions from future prediction perceptions to enact, the hierarchy order and win gain respect, and ultimately base the standards of what is politically correct, the moral choice of interjections for self-preservation expansion, the outward directions space race to direct, including monitoring and recording, the information formation with soul ordering, played on beaches of furthest local perimeter bordering reaches. Leaked frequency resonance can be tweaked along the chain of interaction, That energy flows indefinitely from your destination, illumination, attraction. It is possible to influence you through estimation variation. As the last triple does not exist, flowing forever with nothing to resist, so I state and insist, you'll make a black hole if particle collisions persist. Intergalactic Foxtel is amazing now. Competitions on outcomes we now unilaterally allow, with prizes that are surprises, to make ratings rises. From interaction influence of alteration, diplomats in bigwig hats, like fat cats, in dingbats as disguises, at your front door mats, who really care and need a congrats, searching, then re-researching, sniffing butts, high-perching, something about a backyard bear, is lurching where, but do you really care? Or concede to care for the common universal sense is always ultimately fair, as infinity of geometry for free for all falling, but at an affinity with infinity, is improving instinction, is then a genetic alteration distinction, acceleration away from extinction, is a deed, for a better seed, and indeed, majority, agreed. Genetic associations that encompass the human moral compass, on the amino-sequential combination relation, are beyond repair improvisation, or location isolation, with loving dreams behind scenes and the selfish gene not kept lean. Failed experiments such as particle colliding, clean the planetary petri dishes, a universal constant theme. Its natural rules of nature for an incineration burn, to the extreme. Our team is very keen not to be heard nor seen, with more to learn, by keeping you guessing. Oblivious and naturally observed scene, is a gift uplifting oblivious unaware blessing. As your branch of the genetic genesis tree, self-devour the fruit of innocence and free, you, each leaf draw the water, preventing great hen, a falling branch without a sound soon, that was unable to bloom, and all flowers forgotten, growing in the wrong direction towards the night light, as the wrong direction science marches, towards M theory, and its golden arches, is not quite right, as that maths is good for square rooting your head, renormalizing not realizing string theory is dead, and after inspection, you're harming harmony by subjection, a selection by natural selection, will drink a poison drink, as you more link, and less think, kicking up a stink, from dirty.com manipulation, you all got pounded and ideology cloned, as sheep counting each other to sleep in heap, couldn't realize the lies, with a wool, pulled over eyes, was made from pure bull, in disguise, like sets, on your meds, with 3-second memory heads, just vision conditions of a goldfish, with a mirror head body wish, for a quad-core Pentium nation, that was your instigation, for so-called information investigation, erecting rising from manipulation, linking standard sets of information, autonomously monopolizing the monotony subliminally by data bitage. You will get slapped, and smacked to the floor, because you overclocked freeze-fried cooked the A-I-Q, what for, so overlooked, falling out from the Pentium penthouse nation quad-core, top floor, at full force. From kicking back pictures from different .coms of different bitches. Of course, playing with an unknown fire, without remorse, to intractable collaboratable singularity mass affection, I endorse, black hole fascination desire of affection source, your gonads infection, gonads scab your nuts, go nuts, or butts, vine swinging like Tarzan takes real guts. Boldly going all out like a horse, and racing the course, of that illogical, Big Bang force, by the selected mythological, prodigical impolite political gang without remorse, trying to implement subliminal collateral globule and cluster damage to a minimal, as a new class who lackluster, and kick back with lust, in disgust as disgust it is a must, to be turned to dust, earned as just. This prediction you can trust.
God help yous, making particle collisions because of black hole fascination decisions? Superconducted using synchrotrons, your fate is abducted. That sink is unplugged unobstructed. For neutrons, they'll flow, vortexing like a tornado. A whirlpool unstoppable destruction tool, is worse than radiation devolving the human genetic pool. God bless use, when robotic computing has free will, and is equivalent to human brain functions and with power to kill, clues to use at another brink conjecture junction hill, a self-evolving, self-aware master AI, is my assumption I hope not to fulfill, if the lead relatives are on still, decide to pop in between high-fiving the Cloud9's underground, free-flying all around scooping up the pyramids is a familiar drill, for dropping like bricks crowning down the CPU until capped with lids, to control the duping, and save all future kids. Also, nano-replication is a real implication destruction creation, heaven forbids, that can turn muse to grey goo. The earth will stand still too, because you haven't got a clue, that string theory can't even tie a shoe, because it's the wrong direction science marches, towards M theory and its golden arches. That maths is good, for square rooting your head, renormalize, string theory is dead, and already said, okay, now, get this into your head.
Yeah, it's a what the heck hectic, from the top deck of back deck rectech, a full epic frantic head wreck, by the neck, you must not reject, as a checkmate, before it's too late, as the intractable calamity will devastate everything that it hate, please shut the gate, and learn how to debate, define, dissipate or decimate definition update, because Sputnik spastics hold your fate, that are fed on hate, unable to master debate. God bless yous, but now I must arrest yous, pseudo-science fiction friction from even those best dressed, to impress guests too. Don't have a clue, Hawkins radiation is imagination, the Higgs boson search still goes on, so wrong, blowing more than shoestring budgets, as I distribute to you, your new layman theoretics of spastics, is what you listen to, sticking dogmas like glue, with a supercomputer sound too, head messing in a wave progressing type flu, cooking a stew, in your grey area goo, flush those old dogmas down the loo. See what you're listening to is true. I'll be back. Tours to La Vista baby. My Windows visions after the Vista will make misters turn to pissed gangster twisted sisters. And with incessant tongueless blisters, we'll all be quantum foaming and frothing at the mouth after I kissed yars. So I insist to enlist everything that you've missed. So don't get pissed as I work down a list to remove a black hole cyst, unless you're too cool for old school. This verbal fist is a logic test that you cannot resist.
Quantum local relativity, a pragmatic grand superunification theory, using universal geometry activity, and just one axiom, the scale of infinity. Probability is how we get connectivity, analyzing enigmatic activity. Our tech detects a covariance matrix of reverberating wave ripples and echoes stipulate an actual, like man's Mandelbrot fractal, to indicate instantaneous a faster than light speed lost debate on rate, and how we relate. Size and time perception, that is genetically governed since conception, the amount of simultaneous calculations per second of perception is obliviously obvious. Some psychosomatic neuroimmunology is lyrical medicinal technology, arriving to you along cosmological constants constantly as we detect triple and reverberate perturbations, formulating a phenomenological interactions across the event horizon, a cosmology eventrizing station EMF, a background space society surprising event.
Yeah? They don't know. Something's going on, by hiding the con that comes from CERN, Synchrohadron. There's no concern of the contrails that lead to Switzerland. Playing with an unknown fire is going to burn, a synchrotron kiss of death, by the Swiss physicists on meth. Proactively simples, popping pimples, but simply smashing will never learn. The technology to which they yearn has to be earned by firstly the particle colliding U-turned, then find the peace and harmony that is adjourned. Those daft punk, schmuck, Sputniks, poor, spastics, having black hole mini ragdoll picnics, that are not a cakewalk in the park, helping Hawkins search for his quark, with mental black holes, and antics that are dark. I suggest some speak and spell semantics most type remark. Warning, warning, I meant decimation not dissipation. Warning, warning, I meant decimation not dissipation from my string length calculation.
It's a jinx, and something stinks, following the links to the common universal sense of instincts. It's humans' job to think. The Sphinx does not blink, as it's seriously the brink on an apocalyptic money sink. What's up? All heads down, thumbs up. Tex hacks hexing as an uprising to the event horizon, on the horizon rising, a mini black hole, surprising event, and trying to invent, with taxpayers hundreds of billions, that are already spent, by brats, curiosity from fat cats, those big boys with toy big wig hats, those dingbats need a congrats, for losing the risk versus reward stats. During the epic purging excursion, by submerging insertion incursions, of quantum mechanics different versions, the standard model is a mini perversion diversion, on any emerging technology anomalies that are merge verging, or virgin black holes, that are urge searching.
Yeah. And all because of the penultimate conclusions, on advising, from every node and their ultimate dilutions, re-revising, causes mass confusions, and theory capsizing, masters of final word intrusions, ego, exercising, taught at the Institute of Exclusions, sly devising, of Copperfield illusions, so it's not surprising while chastising. After fisting a vista, it's hasta la vista, missing windows of opportunities that can turn a mister into a pissed, gangster twisted sister that spread street cred from the speech impaired make. Some gender inconsistent tough bitches, although still itching from the stitches, and also have incessant tongue lisp blisters, are all more quantum foaming and frothing at the mouth, trying to money shot nature's black hole down south. So we Richter, the boson, bozo, scale of epic fail, worse than a leeched beached whale, impeached with a fine tail, for speech breach.
So some simple idiosyncrasies of intrinsic synchronicities are all orchestrated and conducted. It is superconducted, epic fail instructed. Even the construction had the black blowhole hole suction. Coughed up and pitched, outspeeched, was fined then breached, for trying to reach out and teach how to be a leech. Harming harmony with the hard money, as scientists sped goldfish heads are rehearsing, gender reversing, systematically into superluminal universe cursing, super hectically, super symmetrically. Melvins turn into Sheldons, hot for Calvins, need to bring their AAA game, not the walk of shame. Probability is not a proper ability, by miscalculating, time and time again. The synchrotron money sink shame, is simply money down the drain, because that maths is good, for square rooting ahead, as you cannot renormalize a spread, string theory must surely be dead, to all flags waved raised as red, who have been astray led, to air an ashtray bed, where a lust frivolous science, should not be fed. So it's the wrong direction science marches, towards string and theory and its golden arches. They flipped, jibbed
and jabbed, as their jabbed jaws jabbed stabbed, some lads were nabbed, like their gonads scabbed, so go nuts, now no buts, using your head takes real guts. against a chorus of Donut King. Oro at El Toro's Taurus-shaped black hole heart, for us worms to kickstart, another wormhole on the chart, a sink stinks but doesn't fart, meaning, what is called Hawkins radiation, evidently is flatulence, not factual evidence, therefore theory has been ripped torn apart. These fascinations on nature's past, is causing talking out fast, similar to a blast out of an arse, in a vast, frantic string measuring task, because it was asked. Ancient theories are all built to last. Thanks to dogmas stuck, shocked, and glued, red tape lassoed, fed by crude, institution food, cannot be rude, sued, unless nude, but then you get screwed, because chasing tails is rude. Searching and researching, sniffing butts, high perching, where they are lurching, in the endless spine, ultimate final ultimate collude, conclude with ego attitudes, ultimate alternate, hung in white papers strung around a measuring ground. The only Hawkins radiation detected is pollution when his Geiger counter inspected, obviously genetically affected. One can conclude he'd super illuminated full stark and nude, the inner glowing the dark all day and night trying to find his quark. You cannot expect respect when risk versus reward was a neglect. A geriatric generic standard model from some reject was so outplayed, the hundreds of billions that paid, outlaid, because it wasn't, and web surfing skywalkers must be obeyed. High-fiving the Cloud9s does not get you laid.
Nanoreplication is a real implication that can turn us to grey goo. The Earth will stand still. Number 2, because we haven't got a clue what a nanorobot can do, bless you, as they spread like a flu on anything organic they would pursue. It's a what the heck hectic, from the top deck of Big Decky Reg, take a full epic frantic head wreck by the neck. You must not reject, as a checkmate, before it's too late, as the intractable calamity will devastate everything that it ate. Please shut the gate and know that I am great with no debate.
All reality possible probabilities should all be on the table until proven and confirmed, with epistemologies on simple comparison bar graph charts, as anything is only what people think, commonly agreed views being the reality link. Sometimes core principles need a sink, or swim, so heads up. If you blink, you'll miss the brain gym. Don't be frightened to be enlightened. Illuminate from dim, a soul inner glow, making your head blow. Do not underestimate analog wave ripples that interpolate when they interact. It's possible to derive digital interpretations of superposition principles. The homomorphic polynomial lines of fate. Able to analyze oscillations to digital data and calculate, collated a trigonometrical simultaneous hectic invasion of calculus that accumulates from 4D quadratic complex equations before it's too late. From inbuilt cyborg genetic calculator calculations instantly, so it's easy to devastate, adjusting to readjustments autonomously to synchronize a predicted or preferred eventual outcome, making good fate. With free will the center of chaotic focus, it's a game of life. There is no debate, it's time to checkmate. Like a Big Bang theory that can only square root your head. Perfectionism is a serious subjectionism business of universalism. In the perfection direction, as being the natural object of affection, will make points of confliction, such as an objection affliction. Move forward together, such as the arrow of time, direction. For a born and bred sped, where crude institution food is fed, on bandwagons being led to an ashtray bed.
It seems that Intrinsic human idiosyncrasies in synchronic synchronicity. It seems that intrinsic human idiosyncrasies in synchronic synchronicity.
Here make idiotic ideologies a real epic pinnacle spectacle. As may be predictable, universal obstacles are used for cosmic, polite, political, critical, clinical type of analyticals in a theoretician competition mission stuck at a war of attrition type position on exhibition. So probably using a probability, proper ability, which then earn precision prediction tuition recognition, because these politicians have ambitions to win the superposition while superconducting musician renditions for their composition of extrasensory intuitions and premonition visions to provide a provision condition for prodigitation visions required now to directly detect correct direction corrections like LHC particle collisions you see even before construction was instructed to be unobstructed as opinion preconditions of public permission are emissions from some children's hot for Kelvins like magician Melvins without any inhibitions, just ignition repetition addiction seem to only raise praise not suspicions. Their black hole desire to spark a quark will cause an unknown fire like a cakewalk in the park seem to only raise praise not suspicions. Their black hole desire to spark a quark will cause an unknown fire like a cakewalk in the park. That Mortician Coalition Commission is sent from a tactician Inquisition division because extradition extra expedition traditions for imagination malnutrition that envision fruition of cognition volition sedition submission conditions via the rhetorician academician television loud transmission emissions that cloud logician statistician mathematician string theory redefinitions of revisions by indecision and hidden vision admissions cause apparitions superstitions of litigation liquidation from population obstetrician clinician extreme circumcision excisions like frustrations from fucking castrations. Now the pediatrician physician opposition has additional proposition petition ammunitions from signature acquisitions required to stop those micro black hole fascinations and those LHC abomination creations for decommissions, prohibitions, abolitions and demolitions. As a guesstimation infestation situation completes or obliteration gestation to every nest nation and every guest averts less population. Therefore it's paramount to mount this amounting mountain amount of iceberg dips, snowballing and free-falling down, as these complicated counter-compilation formation of narration complaints, for the Himalayan mountains around, account all nations evil donation fountains encounter is still counting. As this citation is an illumination indication sensation. I have an inclination exen initiation by invitation because not dedication after an examination observation by investigation, found confirmation of motivation and identification verification validation affirmation as justification that innovation qualification of my specialization utilization contemplation got inspiration for this publication as in epic salvation creation situation with elaboration from pronunciation destinationary organization. It's the foundation preparation for a proclamation documentation argumentation and with a culmination association configuration disconglomeration combination from a computation articulation simulation activation is a type of experimentation demonstration also is obligation dedication clarification for circulation of civilization unification communication translation about restoration rehabilitation by participation calibration and presentation duplication fascination as explanation about the relation devastation retaliation correlation of commendation from the multiplication of celebration vibration.
Intergalactic Foxtel is amazing now. Competitions on outcomes we unilaterally allow. Prizes that are surprises make ratings rises. N interaction of a influencing alteration. Or a mind-altering alterations making space destination education situations like simulations. God help yous, making particle collisions because of our black hole fascinations decisions. Superconducted using synchrotrons. Fate is abducted, that sync is unplugged unobstructed. For now drons, they'll flow, vortexing like a tornado. Our whirlpool unstoppable destruction tool is worse than the radiation evolving the human genetic pool. God bless yous, when robotic computing is equivalent to human brain functions, clues to use at another brink, conjecture junction functions. A self-evolving, self-aware master is my assumption. Hopefully elite relatives are around who pop in between high-fiving the Cloud9s underground, free-flying all around scooping up the pyramids, then dropping like pooping bricks crowning down on the central CPU to control the duping, slapped with a brown syndrome frown then made to wear a don't look down shirt covered in dirt will ego hurt. Nano-replication is a real implication destruction creation that can turn us to grey goo. The earth will stand still too, because we haven't got a clue. String theory can't even tie a shoe, because it's the wrong direction science marches towards M theory and its golden arches. That maths is good for square rooting your head. Renormalize, string theory is dead. Inbuilt universal obstacles are epic pinnacle spectacles. Those outcome predictables are critical analytical polite political power struggle clinical scale of respect from the future prediction perception project. Extrasensory vision intuition mission like a prediction ambition war of attrition to win the harmonious musician conducting ambition tuition position, a universal exhibition competition for recognition of precision premonitions. Particle collisions were not our decision, we must send transmissions to sign opposition petitions for its decommission. It's ammunition to stop those incisions of magician ignition repetitions. I have a suspicion it's those with an addiction to envision world malnutrition. I'll call them the Prohibition Mortician Commission Coalition. They need wishing for intuition predictions tuition from statistician mathematicians, tacticians without apparition superstition inhibitions to clear up the indecisions clouding visions. Astrolabist Windows visions after the Vista twisted sisters turned to misters with tongue blisters, quantum foam frothing at the mouth after I kissed yas. I insist to enlist everything that yous missed so don't get pissed as I work down a list to remove a black hole cyst. It's a what the heck hectic, from the top deck of Peck Deck erect tech a full epic frantic head wreck by the neck, you must not reject, as a checkmate, before it's too late, as the intractable calamity will devastate everything that it hits. Please shut the gate and know that I am great with no debate. God bless yous, but now I must arrest yous. Pseudo-science fiction friction from even the best dressed to impress guests too, who didn't have a clue. Hawkins radiation is imagination, the Higgs boson goes on so wrong too. How to tie a string shoe, blowing budgets as I distribute to you, your new layman theoretics of spastics is what you listen to. Sticking dogmas like glue, with a supercomputer sound too. Head messing in a way progressing a flu, cooking a stew, of your grey area goo, flushing the old down the loo, see what you're listening to is true. Your human will now mount a mounting mountain, a mount of iceberg tips snowballing, free falling down around town from the Himalayan mountains around, flowing as a donation fountain from every nation and still iceberg tips snowballing, free falling down around town from the Himalayan mountains around, flowing as a donation fountain from every nation and still counting, like a complicated compilation of complaints against the nation as a formal form of informing information in all from a space destination, wave reverberation, formation, creation, melting, head messing in a wave, progressing like shock and awe, in awe of the awesome lesson you're guessing. It's a blessing, addressing another brink. Conjecture point in this eternal process is like a contract for virus, contracting by conjecture, lecture coming to get ya, giving is forgiving. Asta la vista, Windows visions after the vista, twisted sisters turned to misters with tongue blisters, quantum foam frothing at the mouth after I kissed yas. I insist to enlist everything that use mist, so don't get pissed as I work down a list to remove a black hole cyst. It's a what the heck hectic, from the top deck of Peck Deck erect, tech a full epic frantic head wreck by the neck. You must not reject, as a checkmate, before it's too late, as the intractable calamity will devastate everything that it hit. Please shut the gates and know what is great with no debate. God help yous, making particle collisions because of our black hole fascinations decisions. Superconducted using synchrotrons. Fate is abducted, that sync is unplugged, unobstructed. For neutrons, they'll flow, vortexing like a tornado. Our whirlpool, unstoppable distraction tool, is worse than the radiation evolving the human genetic pool.
The challenge of the future prediction, estimation, perception, and manipulation is all revolving around imagination. Genetic alterations and mutations are played from other galactic destinations, home field, centralized communication, mutual most distant perception, in a power struggle for self-preservation and protection. Hologramming, jamming, program and gram slamming, ejecting inappropriate ejaculations from a future fool, or two, a tool, for projecting project perceptions, deriving selections, for interceptions, with contraception injections, its erect tech redirections, indirect inspections, at rejection sections. Every universe master has their aim at furthest expanse pasture, teaching, outreaching boundary interactions, expanding to master, to outlast all past, towards alterations of alternate, contractions of ejected conceptions, objects of objections, imitating attractions, observing obvious adaptations of their own superior higher existence actions, conflicting the predicting like a battle, control higher order of power play, all the way up to what you could say, to the big man himself, orchestrating harmonic conducting. It's safe to say, imitation is the best form of flattery, and is also the best bet probable self-preservation method, preventing higher order uncertainty, the curiosity of insecurity, cause of prediction, implementation of outcome, correct estimation, at any destination, every hour, at all hours from higher powers. It must ultimately lead to a system that is perfectly tuned to perfecting perfection, an eternity of rehearsed throughout the whole universe, as it has always been, like an infection, and always will lead to an injection of religious principles, plus relativity of intentional inevitables is an eventuality, at some point the knowledge of science reality such as gravity,